Hello and welcome to this Tuesday edition of the World Report, viewers. I'm Arjun, Samar, Mahendran, and let's take a look at what's making headlines around the world. India and the United States are close to finalizing the first phase of a new trade deal. Now, according to a report, viewers, officials say that this is part of the agreement directly addressing the high tariffs the US has placed on Indian goods in the recent years. Negotiators have confirmed that 6 rounds of talks have been completed and that the package dealing with reciprocal tariffs is almost ready, or it stands almost ready as we get you this broadcast. Now, this package also includes resolving the 50% tariff and the extra 20% duty linked to New Delhi's Russian oil purchases. Weeks ahead of Russian President Vladimir Putin's visit to India for the 23rd annual India-Russia summit, viewers, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar and his Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov held a meeting in Moscow to discuss details of the upcoming summit and also to finalize a slew of pacts, including those on defense and mobility that may be signed during Putin's visit to New Delhi. Jaishankar, meanwhile, said New Delhi and Moscow will continue to exchange views on the complex global situation with the openness that has always characterized our bilateral ties. Here's more.
The occasion, for me, is all the more important as we prepare for President Putin's visit to India for the 23rd annual summit. A number of bilateral agreements, initiatives, and projects are under discussion in various fields. We look forward to the finalization in the coming days. This will certainly add more substance and texture to our special and privileged strategic partnership. India supports recent efforts towards establishing peace. We hope that all parties approach that goal constructively. An early cessation of the conflict and ensuring of an enduring peace is in the interest of the entire international community.
The UN Security Council, viewers, has approved a US drafted resolution endorsing President Donald Trump's 20-point Gaza peace plan. Now, this proposal also includes creating an International Stabilization Force, or the ISF, with Washington claiming that several unnamed countries here have offered to join this mission. Now, this resolution passed with 13 votes in favor, none against, while Russia and China abstained. US President Donald Trump has said that he will sign the bill to release the Epstein files, or the controversial Epstein files, if Congress indeed passes it and it makes it to his desk. Now, the latest comment is a striking shift, viewers, from his earlier opposition. The comments echoed remarks that he made Sunday evening, which marked a stark reversal after previously fighting the proposal, as a growing number of those in his own party started to support and in fact back it openly. Now, the House is headed towards a vote on a bill as soon as Tuesday, just a few hours from now, where it will almost certainly pass. Meanwhile, here's a report tracking the controversial case timeline.
It all begins February 21st, when the Attorney General Pam Bondi casually tells Fox News, "The Epstein materials are sitting on my desk." That off-the-cuff remark lights the fuse. 6 days later, on February 27th, conservative influencers parade out of the West Wing, holding binders labeled Epstein Files Phase 1. The White House says it wasn't briefed, a move that has insiders whispering crossed wires. By May 8th, the Congress is done waiting. A declassification task force formally demands the files. Bondi misses the May 16th deadline. The development fuels bipartisan irritation and internet suspicion. Then July 7th, the Justice Department and FBI say their review found no Epstein client list at all and recirculate hours of video reaffirming Epstein died by suicide. But missing camera footage surfaces and the pot boils over. In July, MAGA backlash erupts as influencers hammer Bondi. Trump steps in July 12th, calling her fantastic and urging his boys and gals to stand down. But the genie is out of the bottle and Capitol Hill wants its own answers. Bipartisan petition grows on July 15. Lawmakers Thomas Massey and Ro Khanna push a discharge petition to force a House vote. Signatures rise but fall short of 218. Maxwell interviews begin late July. A transcript later claims she insists no client list exists. Soon after, she's moved from low security to minimum security custody, adding more fuel to the rumor mill. Cut to September 8th. Democrats release Epstein's 50-page birthday book featuring a page they say was written by Trump, inside a doodle of a woman's body. Trump denies it flat out. And on November 12th, 20,000 estate emails drop, some mentioning Trump, including one claiming that he spent hours at my house. The White House fires back, calling it a selectively leaked smear. That same night, Arizona's Adelita Grijalva is sworn in, her signature pushing the petition over the magic 218 threshold. Speaker Mike Johnson now promises a full House vote Tuesday. So, the stage is set.
Well, you saw the Epstein timeline there. Now on to the political fallout, where former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers has in fact announced that he would be stepping back from public life and conveyed deep regret for past messages with disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein. Now, this announcement comes after emails revealed that Summers sought advice from Epstein on romantically pursuing a woman he referred to as his mentee. That's right, viewers. Senior Trump administration official and Senator Elizabeth Warren, meanwhile, has called on institutions to sever ties with Summers. We shift our gaze to Eurasia, where Ukraine is set to receive up to 100 Rafale F-4 fighter jets and advanced air defense systems from France under a major new defense agreement aimed at strengthening Kiev's protection against Russian attacks. President Volodymyr Zelensky, in fact, has called the deal historic after signing a letter of intent with French President Emmanuel Macron at an airbase near Paris. Deliveries of the Rafale F-4 jets are expected to be completed by 2035, with joint production of the interceptor drones beginning this year only.
Домовленості і сьогодні підписуються важливі документи про значне посилення наших оборонних спроможностей. І перше, це Україна зможе отримати 100 літаків Rafale F-4, дуже сильні французькі радари, 8 систем протиповітряної оборони, самці, по 6 пускових. Ну це деталі, напевно, це для когось технічні деталі, а для нас це важливо.
Aujourd'hui, nous franchissons une nouvelle étape. Avec cet accord, nous continuons à miser sur le rapprochement et l'intégration de nos industries de défense pour continuer à soutenir l'Ukraine, la modernisation de ses forces armées qui restent en première ligne et qui sont la première ligne de défense de l'Europe, et la dissuasion contre l'agression.
US President Donald Trump said he will sell one of the world's most advanced aircraft, the F-35 fighter jets, to Saudi Arabia, while praising the nation for its committed alliance. Now, this announcement, viewers, came on the eve of the Saudi Crown Prince's first visit to Washington in more than 7 years. That's correct. The Saudi Crown Prince arrived with a wish list, including receiving formal assurance from Trump for US military protection as well. Donald Trump said he's willing to sign legislation to impose sanctions on Russia. Now this, if he retains decision-making authority. Trump said it was okay with me that Republicans are working to impose sanctions on countries doing business with Russia. However, House leaders have held off bringing the legislation to a vote. Now this comes as Trump has preferred to impose tariffs on India, the world's second leading buyer of Russian oil. Over in New York City, Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani said on Monday that he hopes to meet with US President Donald Trump. Why? To discuss affordability. The Democrat confirmed that his team reached out to the White House to set up a possible sit-down with Donald Trump. Now, this essentially means that the political polar opposites could potentially be in the same room to discuss key issues. Now, very importantly, viewers, remember here that Trump made a similar comment just 24 hours before Mamdani made his comment. Listen in, meanwhile, to what Mamdani said.
Is SNAP and food benefits something you would bring up to the president? He mentioned yesterday he'd like to meet with you. Did your team reach out? And is this one of the first areas of conversation?
My team reached out to the White House to fulfill a commitment I made to New Yorkers over the course of this campaign, a commitment that showed a willingness to meet with anyone and everyone so long as it was to the benefit of the 8.5 million people that call the city their home, and so long as it would help to address the affordability crisis that is pushing so many of them out of this city.
Donald Trump also spoke at the McDonald's Impact Summit on Monday about cost of living, tax cuts, and even affordability all around. Now, feeling pressure from Americans, Trump told owners, operators, and suppliers alike of McDonald's that his administration, in fact, is taking up measures to combat inflation. The American president also introduced himself as McDonald's first former fry cook to become president, referring to his 2024 campaign, where he briefly also worked at a McDonald's. Listen in.
I'm honored to stand before you as the very first former McDonald's fry cook ever to become president of the United States. And I actually was there for about 30 minutes, and that was 30 minutes longer than Kamala was there. Despite her job at McDonald's, that didn't work out too well.
All Smithsonian museums, research centers, and even the National Zoo have reopened after the longest US government shutdown. Now, after being closed for more than a month, viewers, the financial impact is still being calculated from all the way, not from coast to coast. Now, during the 35-day showdown in 2018-19, Smithsonian's 19 museums lost more than 1 million visitors and $3.4 million, almost $3.5 billion in gross revenue. Although previous government shutdowns forced museums and other cultural sites to permanently close as well. Across the English Channel, viewers, the British government is set to tighten its asylum system, as announced by Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood on Monday in the House of Commons. Now, Mahmood said that the new policy would deter migrants who don't stay in the first safe country where they land, but instead asylum shop across Europe to find the most attractive place to settle in. Now, the new reforms would revoke UK's legal duty to provide support for asylum seekers. To be permanently settled, refugees now would have to wait 20 long years instead of the original 5. Over in Asia, China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi exchanged high-level exchanges in a call with his Japanese counterpart, hinting at a potential meeting between Chinese President Xi Jinping and Japan's new Premier, Sanae Takichi. Xi and Takichi will attend this week's Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit in South Korea. Now, this also provides a window for possible meeting on neutral grounds between the two world leaders. Japan has postponed the release of at least 2 popular Japanese films in China amid a dispute over PM Sanae Takichi's remarks concerning Taiwan. Now, additionally, the sales of movie tickets currently available in China have significantly fallen as the row has deepened. Takaichi suggested earlier this month that Tokyo could militarily take action if Beijing attacked Taiwan. A group of gunmen in Nigeria abducted 25 schoolgirls on Monday and killed at least 1 staffer. Now, the girls' viewers were taken from their dorms early morning around 4 a.m. The abductors were armed with sophisticated weapons, as we're getting to learn, and they also exchanged gunfire with the guards present at the spot. No group has yet claimed responsibility for the abduction, and the motivations still remain unclear. Meanwhile, Nigeria is facing a major problem when it comes to security, especially from armed bandits who specialize in abductions for ransoms. Pope Leo XIV has urged countries at the United Nations climate talks to take concrete actions to stop climate change. Now, the Pope played a video message for religious leaders gathered in Belém. Not only this, he declared that humans are failing in their response to global warming. Listen in.
Strong climate actions and policies. Both are an investment in a more just and stable world. We walk alongside scientists, leaders, pastors of every nation and creed. We are guardians of creation, not rivals for its spoils. Let us send a clear global signal together. Nations standing in unwavering solidarity behind the Paris Agreement and behind climate cooperation.
US schools in Haiti were closed on Monday and parents were asked to keep children at home following weeks of increasing gang violence. The intense gang activity has led the national police to a general mobilization and the streets have witnessed less traffic than usual. Only last week, a group of suspected Haitian gang members fired on American forces protecting the US Embassy in Port-au-Prince. Veteran politician Sally Berisha led protesters on Monday in Tirana calling for the resignations of Prime Minister and Deputy Prime Minister. Deputy Prime Minister Belinda Baluku is being investigated by the country's corruption watchdog and has also yet to resign. Berisha announced to protesters that the rally would mark the start of a people's parliament. The politician went on to accuse the current government of rigged elections. Thousands marched in the capital city of Greece, Athens, on Monday to mark a major 1973 student uprising that in fact helped topple the military junta in the country. Demonstrators kept up the tradition of marching to the US Embassy every year since 1974 in protest of Washington's support at the time of the dictatorship in the country. Now, thousands of riot police were deployed and main arteries were closed to traffic, including metro stations along the march route. Thousands of miners protested in Peru's capital, demanding for work permits to continue working in certain mines. Now, this, viewers, comes as Peru has eliminated altogether more than 50,000 temporary permits to informal miners that had allowed them operations inside or within Peru's territory. In downtown Lima, meanwhile, protesters plan to remain for several days until the Congress resolves their problem. Protesters in Slovakia on Monday used the anniversary of the 1989 Velvet Revolution that in fact brought an end to decades of communist rule in Czechoslovakia to voice their protest against populist Prime Minister Robert Fico and his pro-Russian policies. Tens of thousands braved heavy rain in the capital, Lima, while protest rallies and marches took place in dozens of other cities and towns across the country. Viewers, Fico's government recently has cancelled the national holiday on the 17th of November that marked the revolution as part of austerity measures.
Dáme im jednoducho zárku na hubu. 6 miliónov rokov dozadu a verím, že v tomto prípade...
Protesters in Cuba blocked the highway in the town of El Carmen, reporting that they had been without electricity for 22 days after Hurricane Melissa. That's correct. The demonstrators are using fallen trees and electrical poles from the storm to block the road. Police cars and military trucks, meanwhile, arrived at the scene to persuade the protesters to clear the road. The frustration comes after the deadly Hurricane Melissa, during which more than 54,000 people were forced to evacuate. And well, it's time we step into a short break. Much more lined up on the other side, viewers. Needless to say, don't you go anywhere. Welcome back, viewers. On to updates from the world of business and technology, where the celebrated designer behind iPhone Air, Abhidur Chaudhry, has in fact departed from Apple. Chaudhry was featured in the launch video of iPhone Air. Now, his exit marks the rapid turnover inside the company's most influential team. Now, all this at a time when the continuity of the design is already under strain. Now, the current Apple group is now a mix of younger designers and industry recruiters. World of sports viewers, the first India-South Africa test in Kolkata has set off a major cricketing storm. What am I talking about? Well, the match wrapped up in under 3 days, and India's failure to chase just 124 runs has raised serious questions about the team's ability to handle spin at home. The Eden Garden pitch is at the heart of this controversy. While curator Sujan Mukherjee faces criticism, Sourav Ganguly has pointed the finger back at the Gautam Gambhir-led Indian camp. Now, Gambhir had sparked backlash by admitting that the team had asked for this pitch. The world of entertainment, Britain's Royal Mint celebrated the legendary musician Freddie Mercury with a new coin design which marks 40 years since his iconic Live Aid performance. The coin features an image of the Queen's star with his head thrown back while holding a microphone mid-performance. A musical stave that runs around the edge of the coin, viewers, also represents his 4-octave vocal range. Additionally, this year also marks the 40th anniversary of Mercury's solo album, Mr. Bad Guy. And 63-year-old Tom Cruise finally got hold of his own Oscar on Sunday at the Governor's Award. The celebrated actor had been nominated for an Oscar 4 times, but never won until Sunday. The audience saw a montage of clips from his famous films before the actor took to stage. Oscar-winning director Alejandro Gonzalez presented Cruise the award. Well, those are all the updates we have for you this Tuesday. Take care. I'll see you tomorrow. Meanwhile, have a wonderful day.